When we learn to work with our brain instead of against it, it can make making decisions around food so much easier. So one tool that we're going to go over is the contrasting exercise. So one thing to know about our brain is it has a tendency to notice the negative things first. Like, it's easier to pay attention to the negative things versus finding the positive things, which was a very useful tool, because way back when our nervous system was getting created, it's a lot more important to pay attention and notice the negative things, because that's more helpful for our survival. Like, if we notice that when we go past that cave we get our foot bitten by an animal, it's going to stick really well in our memory as a lesson. And so when we see those caves, we go, ooh, not going to walk that way because something bad can happen. Versus, it's not going to help us out for survival very well if we are stopping to smell the roses and just noticing how pretty they are. So we can understand this about our brain first, not feel so guilty and bad every time a negative thought comes up, but just to be able to take it for what it is. It's just information, but we get to choose what we do about it. But we can use this this way of our mind of like looking for the negative stuff to help us figure out how to find the positives. So knowing that it's easier to see the negative stuff, but we don't want to just live in that world, we want to figure out how to swap and move into the positive side of things. What I want you to do is write on a piece of paper, split it into 2 columns, and on one side write, I don't want, and on the other side you write, I do want. So because it's so much easier to figure out what we don't want, because we have this negative cognitive bias, it'll be way easier to come up with all the things we don't want. So you write that down in one column, like, I don't want to overeat, I don't want to feel guilty around food, I don't want to hit the snooze button every time I'm supposed to get up for an exercise. You know, whatever it is for you, just like brain dump a list of all the things you don't want. So now we can use that list, we're going to look at it and then draw a whole line between everyone into the new column of, okay, what does that mean? What is it that you actually want? Because it's harder for our brain to formulate like what it actually wants, because it's so much easier to pay attention to the negative. So we're going to use this as a tool to create what are the thoughts we actually want to put our focus and energy on. So you look at the one column, say, okay, I don't want to overeat. So what does that mean? What does that mean you actually want? I want to find portions that feel good in my body. And so you do that for everything down the list. So now you have a whole column of all the things that you want. So it gives your brain something to focus on. So now, instead of having all your energy going towards all the things you don't want, because even though we're saying, I don't want this and I want to stop that, all the brain knows is you're spending energy on these things. So it's going to bring more awareness and keep those things front of mind because it feels it's important to you because you're thinking about it all the time. So we have to introduce new thoughts. So now you have this new column that actually outlines all the things you do want. So you're going to shift your focus towards that and putting your energy towards paying attention to what is it that you actually want. So now you'll know, oh, I want to learn how to find portions that feel good in my body. And so your brain is going to start working with you to find solutions to accomplish that. So give this tool a shot.